Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, mother. With Nery Saenz. And I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Steph, Onion Mayor Sr.
Yeah, I don't have to look for you.
Oh, I don't.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah! And Mike Mercadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hey everybody! Get sweet guitar riffs from our theme song intro. Hey everybody, welcome to the What's Up Bro podcast. My name is Mike Valdes. With me as a special guest is
Mike Valdes. Hello.
Welcome, Mike Valdes. I was gonna say with me as always is Nery is having, he's off on assignment. Remember when there was always a time that he's off on assignment. He's doing something. What do you think he's doing out there? He's is somewhere in the Bahamas, struggling with his Wi-Fi. Mike Valdes, welcome to the show. Just Nas said all you need is one mic, but here at WUBro, we think you need two.
Yeah, 2 mics.
2 mics. We were just talking about before we went live about some behind the scenes of some because we're both trying to be creatives. We're both trying to be actors. We're both trying to be performers. We're both trying to do stuff. And we were commenting and lamenting about, I want to share something about, I had this, the acting world and casting is the only place where profiling and stereotypes still are the industy.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that's the whole job. It's I know he's not Jewish, but could he play Jewish? It's yep, he can. Cast him.
Funny enough, part of the reason why I don't post on social media as much as every other crackhead that's doing it, is that my job is getting critiqued by people. I just want something for me. You know what I mean? So it's also part of why I don't date anymore, because all a Hinge profile is just a casting network's profile at this point.
Ooh,
so
that's interesting. Oh, that would be. I wonder if there's a dating app for actors.
It's called 5'9" and below.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But I wonder, that's got to be a tough. I do think that where you have your acting resume, all the other stuff you've been in, but then it's just a dating profile. So it's just a bunch of people, people's names. Where it's this person, if you want to refer to this person, they can give you there's a reel that you put here's
That's
me
funny.
on a date with somebody else. Here's me. I'm dateable.
That's funny.
I wonder if that, because it does ring true. I was having this conversation because I'm a married man, and I've, and I'm sure maybe you've had this experience where I feel like it's pretty universal for dudes. The second they get into a relationship, someone pops up, someone from the past, someone who that you've never thought of in romantic terms. Suddenly they're like, "Oh, I missed my shot. I was single so much longer than I've been in a relationship. What are you doing?"
The Christian community calls that the devil. But the devil's trying to tempt you. That's what that is.
It's vile because it's also in at the beginning stages of a burgeoning relationship, and all of a sudden there's somebody that's, if you've ever done that, I do judge you a little bit. Hey, were you thinking clearly? Were you trying to destroy this relationship?
I mean, granted, like I think the last person you want to be with is a person who only wants to be with you when you're with somebody else. You know, like that.
But isn't that what
Yeah.
acting is like? Also, like you have to prove you've done it to be
Yeah,
able to
Donald
do
Glover
it.
has a great joke about that. Donald Glover has a great joke about that where he's like, you know, you don't if somebody works at Subway and they go home and make a sandwich, you're not like getting a little conceited, aren't we? Like, you know, so like you know, like if you
Yeah,
make chairs for a living and then you sit down, they're like, leave it at work. Like nobody does that, you know, but you have to keep
it's
proving that you can do something as an actor.
as a and then there's the Mitch Hedberg bit of like, oh, you're good at comedy, can you act? And he's like, oh, you're good at cooking, can you farm? You know, like
Yeah.
there's maybe they're related, but it's also like that feeling of man, I do like that idea of having to prove like the way that people talk about it in other aspects. Like
Yes.
it's hard because it is niche. It's super inside baseball. I've never been able to make jokes about inside baseball work to like average audience, like a non-performer
Yeah.
audience. So,
Dude, something, and I want to talk to you about this because you'll understand it, but I just want the audience at home listening and watching to understand that when they see a commercial, and most of the time, let's just assume that it is a Oscar-winning actor because at this point, if you win an Oscar, you get a T-Mobile commercial. Like that's just what
yeah. Which used to be selling out. Actually, shout out to my new show that's going to be coming out on Zeros on Heroes ad nauseum. That where me and my friend Alex Murray and John Smith, Vox the Devil, are going to be like talking about advertising as a form of entertainment and art.
Yeah.
So keep an eye out for that.
Dude, it's I mean that's why, like, you know, and I could talk about this more, but I want people to understand that when they watch, like, for example, there's a Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Ben Affleck in it, and
Sure.
and then there's one person who works at the Dunkin' Donuts and just hands them the coffee, and if they're lucky, they say that'll be $3.99, sir. If they're lucky, they get to say that. I want the audience to understand that person auditioned 3 times to do that.
Yeah, they went through multiple. Either well, two things could have happened. Either they are a friend of someone who's working on that, who's a producer or something on that commercial, or works for that.
Ben Affleck's kid.
It's Ben Affleck's
Right?
kid. Somebody, yeah. It's either that work, because let's not deny nepotism, or it's somebody who tried really hard to get there.
Mhm.
Like really, like that. They tried so hard to get the line of $3.99. The same way that when people talk about comedy, they're not talking about open mics in the basement of a New York bar or like some weird coffee shop in LA and Eagle Rock in the middle of like a million miles away that you drove through an hour of traffic to get to. They're talking about a celebrity in a stadium or a celebrity in an amphitheater. They're not talking about what it really, you know, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
So like whenever people see a commercial, like I've had this conversation a couple times where like being, you know, like having been on set, having seen, it's amazing anything ever gets made because of literally 100%. It's like a million puzzle pieces being like everything gets shot in like little pieces. It's hard to explain, you know, unless it's hard for people to conceptualize or put themselves in that position because it is like alien. It's so like crazy. So at a certain point, when you see something on TV, also how many writers went into saying that'll be $3.99, sir?
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Like how many writers? It's like no, we should say that'll you know, it's like so it's like $3.99. Like give them attitude. Like somebody had to like guide the whole process. I'm writing with a friend of mine, and it's like crazy how. Should I use this word instead of this word? Someone's like, "Oh, that word sounds weird." It's a word in like 1,000, 100,000 other words.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I actually was very blessed and like this past week I just shot 3 days on a really big commercial that's coming out. I can't really talk too much about it, but something that I can say without saying brand names or like who's in it or anything is just that a lot of this commercial was very improvised, and it was very like quasi The Office, like that kind of
Sure.
thing. And they wanted me to be a very Michael Scott type of character and just say weird stuff, but like just be as sincere as humanly possible. And that's why it's funny, because it's wild. And
Yeah.
I would improvise all these things. And then the client was also there. So the client would say, hey, we really like this, but can you not say this word? Like, for example, if I said, this is going to be like the Coachella video games. They're like, that's a great line. That's really funny, but you can't say Coachella, or like,
right.
It's like doing a Star Wars movie and like being asked to improvise. And then you're like, and then you're like, can you pass me a banana? And then someone's like, bananas don't exist on the planet that we're on right now.
Right.
So like, like it's
Bananas are
literally that.
referred to as snarflacks here. So
Yeah,
and then it's like,
It's
wait a minute, what? All right.
Yeah.
So now it's not
literally that.
I had a situation where I look, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I will say that years ago I auditioned for something. There was a string of, if people want to talk about the state of the industry right now, like, because like for viewers, both Valdes and I have been in this kind of process for years, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So we have a lot of the
For me.
experiences that people don't know about like the ground level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to an audition, and for a while there, auditions were very like, just improvise. Basically, what was happening is that they had a rough idea of what it was for a commercial, right? So the company, this is for a dating app. And so the dating app, which there was like a million coming out at a certain point. There were like so many. And they were like, we need an idea. We need something to make it original, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, okay, so just improvise a little bit. And then they're like, where would you guys meet up? So they literally did like a whole like improv scene where they gave, like, we were giving ourselves, I got a suggestion from what's like a good first date? And the girl says an art museum. We went off and we did a whole scene in the art museum. Fast forward to like a while later, I saw a commercial for a dating app where they're in an art museum. I'm like, did I just write your commercial for free, motherfucker? Did I just write it for you?
Yep.
This is bullshit. So there's that feeling of, at some point, everybody is trying to kind of absorb the masses into their thing to take credit for it, right? So that's like this like thing. So whenever they're like, hey, just improvise, and I'm like, I'm gonna need, and then you don't want to be the guy that says too much to get fired off a set,
right? Where
it's like, no, tell me what to say. No, I struggle with improv. Oh, but it said on your resume, it's like, yeah, but you're gonna take. Well, you were already on set. This was in an audition, but it's pretty crazy to think about how fickle everything.
Well,
can
I mean,
be on the whims of like a handful of people who are in charge of whatever production is happening at the time. Coincidentally, it does not change at the highest levels because Trump told CBS to fire Colbert. That's one of the things we're going to talk about today.
Right, 100%. It's true. It's true, and it happened, which is wild. But I something I was thinking about, and it does go into this topic, and like, it's just wild. Like, I thought I even talked to some people on set about this, where I was just like, because they were talking about Colbert going off and him trying to get Kimmel off and all this stuff. And there was a time where I was a bit flabbergasted that we had a president that watched TV at all. But
right, yeah.
But now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, we have a president that watches TV. And his constant critique about these people are that they're not funny. What does Donald Trump think is funny?
Oh, that's an interesting. Do you
because
what is he genuinely, not just what like kisses his ass, or does like, I don't think he knows what funny is.
Laugh at? What is
what has made him laugh? You want to know what the first thing that came to mind to me was he was laughing like a little girl when Zoran Mamdani showed up.
Okay,
remember when Zoran? He got elected as mayor of New York. He's doing all of
mayor of New York. Yes.
Yeah. Zoran Mamdani, the Democratic Socialist, anti-Trump person. Like he's just
Right.
literally not in that he hates Trump. He's just doing the opposite of what's happening right now. He's
100%.
caring about the working class. He's caring about the people in need. He's just like putting the money back into the like using taxes for what they're supposed to be used for, taxing billionaires, all the opposite of what Trump wants to do. And Trump was there like giggling like a little schoolgirl.
Wow.
Because it was I don't think he knows. I don't think he laughs. I think he just absorbs celebrity.
Sure.
You know, because that's his currency. His currency is celebrity. His currency is attention.
Right.
So when someone like because it's like elite. So for those of you who don't know, Colbert was making some comments. The same thing he tried to do with Jimmy Kimmel, but Jimmy Kimmel, I guess, has like a better contract and or ABC, like he must have like a better deal with ABC, or ABC understands that it's his job to cause controversy or to speak his mind. People will watch. Maybe. Who knows what the reality is behind the scenes. But CBS was like, oh, Colbert, you're done. And it's like that. It's like that kind of thing of like, if the corporate overlords can dictate like what we talk, which is true. Like we've been in denial about it forever. We've had the wool pulled over our eyes forever. So now Trump says, I don't like that he's making fun of me. And then it's like, well, then I guess there was some conversation behind the scenes, and Stephen Colbert's were like, well, I'm gone then. I'm out.
Yeah.
Or they fired him. Either way, last night was his final show. Last night? Yeah. Was the final show. And this is funny. He's going to be replaced by Byron Allen. Comics Unleashed.
Oh yeah,
Byron Allen.
Comics Unleashed.
The Comics Unleashed guy, the most like trite, like have you ever seen him? Have you ever seen that show? It's literally has comedians on, and he basically just sets them up to do bits, which is just like any other talk show, but he's like straight up. So I heard you were walking through the mall the other day. And I was walking through the mall the other day.
Yeah, they'll do an entire bit about going to the mall, and then they'll be like, "Man, that really reminds me, you just survived cancer, right?" And then they're just like, "What?"
But it's like, remember Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, where he would have the panel. That's basically what that's how old this show is. That's how old Byron Allen. This guy has been making money forever doing these random shows. Which again, what a nice thing to put comedians on TV, right? Like what a great thing.
Of course.
And just let them do bits. Let them be funny.
Ultimately, to just cut you off for a second. Ultimately, it is difficult because, as a comedian, I was even thinking about this for myself. Like, it is, and I have a lot of friends, at least 2 handfuls of friends that have been on that show. And I actually am impressed by them because all of the jokes that they have to do have to have no reference to pop culture. Cannot have brand names. They can't talk about songs. They can't talk about anything. Like it literally has to be like, well, my son was going to the toilet and he was like, poo-poo brown. And like, that's the joke. Like it literally has to be like something that can play 10 years from now at 4 a.m. Like it literally has to be. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I got distracted. I was just reading. Byron Allen got his first big break as a teenage comedian on Johnny Carson's The Tonight Show nearly 5 decades later. 5 decades, 50 years. He's a billionaire media mogul with a sprawling and unconventional. He owns the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel. He
recently bought a controlling stake in BuzzFeed. He's even expressed interest in buying CNN. Maybe I shouldn't speak so ill of Byron Allen. Oh my God.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Is like the Jews don't control the weather. Byron Allen does.
Byron Allen controls the weather.
Like what are we blaming the Jews for controlling the weather? It is Byron Allen.
I had no idea that he was.
Yeah, he is a businessman upon businessman of a man.
What?
Like,
oh my God, that's so crazy. I will say
dude.
This. He could.
The coolest thing about him is the fact that he has all this money, but he still wants to help up and coming comedians, and that's cool.
Is Byron Allen the anti-Rogan?
Yes. Are you kidding?
He believes in the science of weather.
Yeah.
And he
Yes.
helps up it, but he, you know, that's the one thing that people talk about Joe Rogan. Like he's an idiot, whatever. He's gone off the deep end. He's a big mess, but he always has comedians on, right?
Yeah.
Sycophantic comedians in some way, but comedians, right? Like he can build up. There's a crazy, like super interesting YouTube video about him being like the comedy czar and all of the Austin comedy scene. I'm sure you've seen it. And but here's Byron Allen being a bazillionaire and having like a few people I know, like not supreme level, well-known comedians on his show doing jokes about going through them. I went on a date with a girl the other night, you know, like, that's the, you know, it's great.
Yeah.
Like I do respect the format because I love the show Green Room, you know, like with the guy, what's his name? Not Pablo Francisco. The Green Room it was like just comedians hanging out talking shit. Like that's literally like the best part about doing comedy for me. That was always the most like rewarding part. Like you get to hang out, everybody's just riffing off of each other and telling jokes and talking shit.
Yeah.
And you hear the most outlandish shit that you could never say on stage, but you understand that it's funny and you understand why you can't use it, but then you're like, no one would ever judge a group of comedians talking shit. Maybe there are lines you can cross, but it's like everybody's just trying to be funny, and that is like very rewarding. You know, like knowing that everyone is just trying to do their best to make the other person laugh. I think that's funny. And to be fair, that's what a lot of these panel shows are. Like it's super scripted, but like the Graham Norton show on, they always have some, you know, stiff wood, you know, a block of wood actor, a British, you know, legend, and then some snarky fucking comedian who's riffing on all of the other stuff. Or they'll bring a comedy actor with a drama and then a comedian. Like they stack the deck so that everybody gets a moment to shine. Everybody gets and it's entirely clippable. It's like the perfect new era content. I don't want to say new media, but new era.
Well, I mean, truthfully, like late night has become like, because everybody's talking about this now where it's like, is this the end of late night and like all this stuff? And it's like in a lot of ways, like, and I say this with the most respect, and I would never say no to doing a set on the Tonight Show or anything like that. But like at the end of the day, a lot of what these companies want is just to put a clip on YouTube for it to go viral. That's really all they're looking for. It's just we're spending millions of dollars to make TikTok clips. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean,
know?
Look, the reason why we're talking about it right now is because this is the era of like, I don't want to watch the clips of Colbert on YouTube because CBS gets the money from the YouTube clips.
Sure.
But the YouTube clips have become, I would say, probably more profitable than broadcast television and advertisers and all that stuff.
100%.
So the illusion of, we have to keep the sponsors happy. Shut the fuck up. You can't say that shit to an educated person who knows how much money you're making off of every CBS YouTube channel, because there's more than one.
Well, the thing about CBS is this, man. Like, look at it this way: the like Colbert made most of his views and everything on YouTube. What else is on CBS? Unclippable propaganda shows. You know what I mean? Like that is all CBS is. If you're lucky, there's a football game. Like, I mean, that's it. You know?
Do you watch? I got an antenna for my TV because I don't have cable anymore. I'm serious.
It's just funny. This is funny to say you got an antenna.
I got an antenna. That shit's still free through the air.
Yeah.
Like you don't need you don't need the internet. You don't need a cable subscription. You need a TV that can descramble digital signals and an antenna strong enough to receive them. And you can watch TV, right? Yeah. And I will say that it's surprisingly comforting. It's surprisingly comforting in that it's just what's on, right? It's just what's on. And now that there's all those digital channels in between the other channels, I was like, this is what it used to be like. And then I went to I turned it on at like prime time, and I was like, this is unwatchable garbage.
Oh yeah.
It is brutal. It is,
I'm sure
have the awareness of it. But
It's not.
I was I was watching 911 or some sort of 911 show, and I was
Sure.
like, oh, is that Jennifer Love Hewitt or something? It was so funny because there's like a whole world of content that like only your grandparents know about.
Yes.
Right? Like only your aunts and uncles,
your grandparents, your boomer parents, like and like stewardesses across America, like flight attendants across America know. Only they're watching all of the government jobs in the city of Chicago. It's wild, dude. Like the amount of, it's so funny because, and I know exactly about this because my parents are they're such fans of CBS shows.
Really?
Which is so funny to me. Like
Chicago Fire. Is that a CBS show?
Yes, that's what I was saying. Any government job in the city of Chicago has a show. Like just
Chicago cops.
Like Chicago PD.
Chicago
Chicago PD, Chicago MD, Chicago Fire. Dude, it is crazy. And my parents, I swear to God, my parents look at this like when a character from Chicago Fire comes into Chicago PD, dude, that's like Spider-Man being in an Iron Man movie. It is insane.
It's
like
a crossover episode, baby. Hey, I will say this. Those make me excited in a way that hold on. Like 6 million thoughts ran into my brain. When Steve Urkel was on Step by Step.
Oh my God! Yeah, when Steve Urkel taught Stephanie. When Steve Urkel taught Stephanie about having glasses on Full House, you're like, "What? This is crazy! Two different worlds. He's in Chicago.
Oh my God.
He's from Chicago. She's from San Francisco. How does this work? Like, you're just
so crazy, But it's true. Like, whenever that would happen, it was like a big deal.
100%.
There and when all the TGIF shows started crossing over. Which it does beg, it's weird. I see a lot of nostalgia stuff online but I wonder if I see it because I'm I'm from that era. But it's weird to see younger people be nostalgic for a thing that you lived through.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I remember when Johnny Carson went off the air. Right?
Yeah.
I was a kid, but I remember when Johnny Carson went off the air, it was a big deal. People, we would all if we were lucky, we got to stay up and watch Johnny Carson. Like I was a little kid, and there would be some famous person on Johnny Carson that was relevant to our interests, and you would that would be the only time you would see a celebrity not being the role that they play. Yeah. Right now, it's a different thing. You have too many access points for that sort of stuff. So when you saw a character played by an actor, but that character was in a different context than you normally see them, it would blow your mind. But now you get to see straight up. The Boys also ended the show. The Boys. I don't know if you watched the finale.
Yeah.
People watching that show, so anti-Trump that they shot and edited everything to be released before Trump thought he was God and made the Jesus post. And they're like, hey man, the actual reality ruined our fake reality because ours doesn't sound crazy enough, right? So you see, now that reality has become a bigger TV show than anything on 911 on CBS. CBS is now like comfort watch, like, hey, I'm gonna go escape. I want sanity, and meanwhile, it's like Chicago PD and Chicago Med and Chicago Fire crossing over on some event that'll never happen.
100%. And I mean, and honestly, my thought about the whole thing is just we're also in a time where we lived in a time during, maybe even before Trump, his first term, where we would watch superhero movies and be like, everything's fine. Spider-Man will save the day, or Captain America will save the day. And now if we have a guy named Captain America in the United States, he's a bad guy. You know what I mean? He's not here to save you.
the irony of all of this is we're just that, like, it does like we're watching stuff that people want us to watch, right? Like there's no way that would have gone out like this, the Colbert finale or Jimmy Kimmel or anything on the last thing you can really control like that has like freedom is the kind of the internet, but even that has become so algorithmically influenced that they can manipulate what you see and what you don't. So if you see something, somebody wanted you to see it. If you see something on broadcast television, somebody wanted you to see it for sure. Right. There's no doubt about it. So it's like this is all like, it's like a bit what we're talking about. It's a little performative, right? You go, you see, you try to get cast in something. They want you to do something. You go to this weird audition. You were talking about, you know, like, oh, I'm going to be in this commercial, and they ask you to do something, and then people talk to you funny until they realize, oh, you're on the commercial, and then they're like, oh yeah, like everything is performative. So if you're
that was off
this,
air for the listener, by the way. That story was off air for the listener. I should probably explain it. I should probably explain it though. So essentially, what was going on?
Only if you want to. I don't want to.
No, it's fine. I can explain it. So essentially what was happening was I was on this shoot for 3 days, and on the last day it was a very big party scene with a bunch of extras, and they needed me to do this one shot where I jumped into a pool, and the comedy scene was that I would jump in the pool, people would see me, and then they'd just go back to partying and nobody cared. That was the joke.
Yeah.
Now to these people, all they know is that I'm just a guy who's jumping into a pool. They don't know that I've worked there for 3 days. They don't know that I'm the co-lead of this commercial. You know,
you shot all of your lines already. This is just the end of your it's like getting the punchline without any of the setup.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And then, funny enough, you know, I finish, you know, all this stuff. It's great, and you go back to the holding and you give everyone your clothes back, your wardrobe, your clothes back, and then you go on the shuttle to go back to your car and all that stuff. And we're all waiting for our shuttle. And there's a bunch of people like just waiting for the shuttle. And someone, just a random person, was just like, hey, that was a really sick jump, you know, whatever, just being cordial, you know. And I was like, oh, thanks so much. That's really cool. It's been a really fun 3 days. And then she said, oh, you've been here for 3 days. And I go, well, yeah, like it's me and this other person. And I play the co-lead of this commercial, and we've already shot all the stuff. And that was the last thing they needed from me. And the amount of people that then started hovering over this conversation to then ask me who I was, what my name was, what my Instagram following was, like all this stuff, when 2 hours ago I was no one. And it made me just realize all of this is bullshit. Like, it's just like of it.
How many Instagram followers do you have is infuriating, because it's not anything new. Literally I remember I auditioned for, we went to an in-person audition. It was like a cattle call thing for some car company. I don't even remember the car company, for us to drive around in their car and shoot content, me and a friend of mine. And literally, at that stage, this was like 2009.
Yeah.
Where it's like still the idea of being an influencer was like a fledgling glint in some marketing person's eye.
Right.
They were like, oh, well, what's your following? How many followers do you have on? And they're like, oh, we got to bump those numbers up. And I'm like, yeah, you have not asked us anything about being funny. You have not asked us anything that we could build. Like, literally, it was like that early on. It immediately became about what metric we can use to judge you. And I was like, oh man. So look, whenever you hear, like, to bring it back to the Colbert thing, whenever you hear anybody talk about ratings or anything like that, bullshit, it's a lie. Nothing of that exists anymore. It's literally Twitter followers, Instagram, like TV ratings. That's like this is dumb and inside, but like that's like being mad at the food pyramid, which we don't use anymore. You know what I mean? Like when the what is it? RFK Jr. was like, we got to change the food pyramid, and it's like that thing. We haven't used that in like decades. That's not been a thing. You're stuck in the old thinking. So like again, it's a show. It's all presentational.
Yeah, it's another thing. It's like another thing that relates to my parents. It's like going on Prime Video and seeing that the movie Crime 101 is the #1 movie in the US and believing it. You know what I mean? Like they're like, and they're like, "Oh, everybody's watching this, Mike. Like everybody loves this." And I'm
Everybody
like,
loves
this
it.
movie, this movie bombed in the theaters. Like, I mean, it is, people do not like it.
People do not like it. I will say this. Speaking of movies in the movie theater, to dismount off of Colbert now is going to go off and do his own thing on the internet and make $1 million on it too. Like he may go back to Comedy Central, and if he brings back the Colbert Report, I would fucking love it. But he can't.
Brings back Comedy Central, I'd love it.
If he brings back Comedy Central. But the reality is, I honestly haven't watched anything of it. I just know I read about it and I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I don't want to contribute to that process. I'll watch it later or whatever. Like I've done a lot of protecting. We talked about it last week with Nery. I'm protecting my peace as much as I can. Yeah. And one of those things is going to the movies, and things bombing in the movies mean that they're going to stop releasing, like all of this money went into streaming platforms because they can make money off of basically like the manipulation of value, like that whole thing of something, what is something really worth, and are the ticket sales, and what's the real budget for things. Like none of that shit matters. I know Nery wanted to talk about Mortal Kombat 2 that came out and it came out in the theater, made some money. Of course, nowhere near what it would have made if streaming platforms weren't like run the way they were.
Right.
Like, or if movie theaters weren't run the way they were. Like if there was a way to make that experience the way it felt like before, where you had to go see something in the theater. And now we were going to talk about the Mandalorian and Grogu. If you want to do a trailer reaction, we can do that real quick, because it's out today. I pre-buy for the last 20 years. I've pre-bought tickets to every Star Wars thing that's come out in the movie theaters. I might go see it after we record, maybe. Like that's the level of like decline in my drive to consume. Hold on, let's see what we can do here. I kicked you out by mistake. Let's watch the trailer. Have you seen the trailer? Do you know anything about the new movie?
I do know about it. I don't think I've seen this trailer though, but I have seen one of the trailers.
G2-ish astromech.
Hey, never touch the buttons.
Get it? It's a Waka Waka misdirect.
I can use some information.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
I'm looking for a HUD.
Close for the night. Thank you.
Gangsters, war criminals.
Long live the Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
This isn't about revenge.
Sigourney!
It's about preventing another war.
Strap in.
You will suffer. And then it will be his turn.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor. The kid will.
Did we just get a Grogu commando?
I won't always be around to protect him.
Are you scared? You should be.
Do we run? Or do we fight?
I like this kid.
What are you waiting for? Let's save the rest for after dinner.
That's today.
Yeah.
May 22nd. That's today. I don't know. Here's a question. How many of those characters do you know? Are you familiar with in any way? Did you watch all of The Mandalorian and Rebels and Clone Wars? And you know what I mean? Like,
I did watch season 1 of The Mandalorian and loved it. I will say this. I checked out when they brought the Skywalkers in because and like that's a spoiler. That's a spoiler.
Yeah.
But ultimately, because I was like, finally, we can do a show that is about like we live like this universe, the Star Wars universe. And this is going to be like my old man nerd whatever coming out.
Is this your old man yells at cloud?
Probably,
segment?
yeah. We are in an entire galaxy. Why are we still talking about the same family?
You hit the nail on the head. So many people, I've said this for years. So many people know how like rich it can be that you've established this language, this cultural kind of touchstones that you can touch, the variety that you could create almost anything in this world. And we got to go back to these motherfuckers. Like, we don't need them to tell a fun story. You don't have to do it. That's why a lot of people say that when the second Mandalorian became less about Mandalorian and more about how we can tie it in with Ahsoka Tano, which granted, I love the Clone Wars. I love it. It saved Star Wars for me.
I think Ahsoka is awesome. Hater.
There's a documentary called The People versus George Lucas, and I always tell people, go watch The People versus George Lucas, because there's a lot of people who forget those prequels. People hated it destroyed my childhood, raped my childhood, all that stuff. There's that South Park episode was not because of this Disney sequels, it was because of the George Lucas prequels. Yeah. People hated them when they came out. Bro, when I tell you, I hated them. Everybody was like, what is this? This isn't what we wanted Star Wars. We were expecting something else. Patton Oswalt has an amazing joke about, like, do you like Darth Vader? Well, in the first we get to see him as a little kid. Oh, do you like Boba Fett? Well, in the second one you get to see him as a little kid. It's like, I don't want to see where the things I love come from. I just want to see the things I love.
I love ice cream. That doesn't mean that I want you to give me rock salt so that I could put cream in it and make it into ice cream.
And that I think about this tweet about Surf Dracula. Do you know about Surf Dracula?
No, that sounds interesting. Hold on.
This goes back to this is the old man yells at. This whole episode is old man yells at cloud. Let me see.
Well, I will say this, man. Are we? Is the hut that they're talking about? Is this Jabba the Hutt?
I think it's one of the Hutt's kids. But that's the thing. There's a whole backstory. There's two Hutts there that you don't know who they are unless you watched the Boba Fett series, which was kind of ass.
So there's Jabba the Hutt, there's Jabba the Hutt's son, and there's Pizza Hut. What's the other one?
Pizza the Hutt. There's Gardula the Hutt. There's a whole bunch of other Hutts. The thing is, if you're just an average person, it was the MCU complaint where it was like, man, I don't want to have to watch 23 movies to go watch Endgame. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you would have had to. There's so much stuff going on. Like, to go watch Infinity War, I think was the hardest one. To go watch Infinity War, you have zero. If you didn't know what was going on, you're like, who are all these people? It's like an investment earned. Star Wars hasn't had that amount of like cachet, and like the MCU at a certain point was like the thing. Everybody was just culturally up on it. Go search up Mike Contextualizes the Universe. I went over the whole up to Endgame with a friend of mine because he had missed out on so many of those things. We just talk about our lives going through when those movies came out, and I love. It's one of my favorite things I've ever put out. That Mike Contextualizes the Universe with my friend Alex Murray. Go check that out. But Surf Dracula is, back in the day, if you did a TV show called Surf Dracula, you'd see that fool surfing every week in new adventures. But in the streaming era, the entire first season got to be a long-ass flashback to how he got the surfboard until you finally see him surf for 5 minutes in the finale.
That's accurate as all get out. That is so accurate.
Surf Dracula so much when I'm watching literally, I'm for the new Spider-Man movie is going to come out, so I watched all of the Spider-Mans, all of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans, and literally the last movie where you finally get all three, he's Spider-Man, but he's not Spider-Man in the Spider-Man that we were familiar with. And then I was like, oh, did all of those movies surf Dracula Spider-Man?
Yeah,
which is a wild sentence to say. I understand.
I mean, something I will say, at least about what I was seeing in the trailer was this. And again, this is very old man yells at cloud, and it's starting with Star Wars, but I'm going to take it out and say that it is most movies now. When you saw the first original trilogy, even the prequels, let's just go to the prequels. That's fine too. Let's just look. When you saw an alien looking creature that was not a human, it did not speak English, right?
Yes.
There was some magic and mystery of like, what is this guy saying? You only heard half of the conversation. You only heard half of the conversation because you would hear
there was either subtitles.
Be like, you're right. Or whatever.
Yeah. The only person who didn't get subtitles was Chewbacca. Chewbacca and R2-D2. R2-D2 didn't get subtitles. At the most, I still, there's that meme of where it says sad beep or bleep, like you would get like bleeps and bloops, and they wouldn't have to be translated because they trusted the audience to get it. That's not where we're at these days.
I fully believe, and like, this is a chicken and the egg thing. Is it that audiences are stupid, or is it that people that make movies think audiences are stupid, and now audiences are stupid?
It's a chicken or egg thing, because at a certain point, I wouldn't say it's chicken or egg. It's least common denominator of a profitable thing, right? Because MCU, if you go back and you watch like the first, like the first Iron Man is arguably one of the best comic book movies of all time with the origin story, because
of course
it is an origin story. It's not Surf Dracula. It's the origin story of a superhero, and you watch him become. And by halfway point, he's already Iron Manning. He's Iron Man, but it's a Tony Stark movie. That's what Marvel has always been, right? Like if you watch Man of Steel, DC isn't the Clark. Like Superman isn't the Clark Kent show. It's Superman, right?
Yeah.
For the Marvel, it's not Spider-Man. It's Spider-Man and Peter Parker and the conflict. It's not Captain America. It's a man out of time. It's Steve Rogers. Like if you watch the MCU, they really focus on the characters and stuff like that of how the superhero identity. And it started with Iron Man, the first Iron Man, where he's like, I am Iron Man. He is the hero. He is the person who is the hero. And in like Star Wars, there was a lot of stuff that was just adventure, and people put a lot of stuff on George Lucas. I'm not one of these Star Wars fans that thinks that, oh, everything Disney Star Wars is bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, George Lucas Star Wars was also viewed as, I didn't like a lot of the George Lucas stuff.
Yeah.
The Dave Filoni Clone Wars was Clone Wars was one of the things that brought me back to Star Wars. Because I did not like the prequels. I was struggling. And I loved, I have the Ewok movies. I watched Caravan of Courage.
Yeah.
I had a VHS of the holiday special. Like, I'm that guy. And then the prequels almost killed it. And then Clone Wars was this thing where I'm like, man, I have to revisit it. I missed it originally. Then all of the stuff that came after, like the special editions and all that stuff that I do not like. I'm not a fan of the special editions, the changes to the thing, blah, blah, blah. That's my old man yells at cloud, where it's like, we're obsessed with doing the least common denominator thing to make the most money, and that has made. It's not that they think that the audiences are dumb. It's that they are trying to make money to appeal to the most amount of people, and the only way you can do that is to dumb it down. And like because there are people that will and also the internet discourse that has just become like woke bad and like, oh, there's a girl, the girl gets to be good, and us, like all of that serves to just kind of like derail the reality that they don't want to pay for good quality content or take risks on something that may or may not appeal to everyone. Because that's what I have my theory. What would be your dream Star Wars project that is not connected to because I thought Mandalorian was. I thought it was going to be Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I was like bounty hunters, fucking Outer Rim, the scum and villainy. Man, I'm ready for that shit. What would be? And then it turned into Surf Dracula. What is your dream Star Wars project?
I mean, ultimately, like I think Andor is pretty close.
Andor's
you know,
pretty
like
close. Yeah.
Andor's pretty close, because like it's the world, and like there's a vagueness of like, yes, it's about stuff we know, but it's not like we want you to meet this character. His last name is Solo, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh man, like like something like that. Like it's not that. Like I literally, it's so funny that Surf Dracula thing is really just making my gears turn because I love that. I love that tweet.
Think about the first season of the Netflix Daredevil show. He was in that black cowl thing the whole time, and then only at the last episode is they show him suit up, and he's like, and it's like, wait, what? And I get it. Everything needs not everything needs an origin story. Like, just fucking start. Here's the thing. I'm totally okay with my dream project is a Star Wars horror movie where it's basically like, it's the equivalent of like The Gray or one of these things where like they crash land and there's like I want it to be like they have to get off the island surviving whatever threats are on the island. And I want it to be like a King Kong kind of situation where there's like this mythical beast or whatever, but there's also a tribe. There's also like the culture that's on that planet that deals with it's like, actually Predator Badlands is a great movie that is kind of like my version of Predator Badlands was so fucking good because it incorporated all of the culture of Predator, but it told its own thing.
Yeah.
Its own story, right?
It wasn't reminding you, hey, remember Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like every 5 minutes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So
it knew that you knew what was up. Like
it knew that. Well, it's not that it doesn't care. It's telling a story about using all of those tools, right? My dream Star Wars project would be that horror movie or whatever, and then at the end, like not related to the story. Like the reason why the post-credit scene of Nick Fury coming out at the end of the original Iron Man was so good is because that doesn't impact the story I'm telling over here.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, and by the way, there's a bigger world out there.
Yeah.
That was huge. It was awesome. That was such a big deal to when all of a sudden Nick Fury comes out and you're like, oh my God. So like, that's what an interesting idea. Then the Hulk comes out. The Hulk has nothing to do with Iron Man, nothing to do with anything else. It's just the Hulk movie. Thor comes out. It's just the Thor movie. They make a reference to Hawkeye at some point to Hawk. The Hawk Barton is up there. And then people are like, if you know, but it doesn't impact the story at all.
Right.
So I would love that. Like when they tell, like if they zoom out of the planet and then you realize that it was, Dagobah or something like that. Or like it's just because not like it's on the other side of the planet,
right?
Like at the very, very like end credits, you just see Yoda kind of come out and see them fly off. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of things to say. Like one is, I was watching a YouTube video about this, and somebody said, and back in, I don't know if you ever listened to Harmontown. It's Dan Harmon's old podcast, but something that he would talk about was there's these types of jokes that he hates, and he calls them Monopoly Man jokes. And the reason why is because there's in the movie Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls, there's a part in the movie where he is at a party and there is a guy that is there with his wife. His wife is wearing a fur coat. He gets offended at the fur coat because he's an animal lover, obviously. And instead of making fun of her, he makes fun of the husband because the husband looks like the Monopoly guy.
And you must be the Monopoly guy.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the free parking. And the reason why that joke sucks is because that joke is about somebody that doesn't exist. Like somebody like that would never show up to a party. That joke was literally made up so that he could say that. Like there is like it is one of those things where like, oh, let's write our way to this reference to where it's like if he just had something to say about the fur coat, that would be true to his character. You know what I mean? Because he's an animal lover, you know, like, and he could literally just be like, oh, like, I don't know, like could have made a joke about like how much money he spent on it or like, you know, whatever. Like it could have been literally anything, but instead decides to go, and you must be the Monopoly guy. Like it's like, and a lot of comedies, which comedies I'm putting in quotes, unfortunately have become Monopoly guy jokes. You know, like for example, you know, the only thing that I truly like despise about the Endgame series is the fact, and there are people that absolutely love this, especially bigger dudes in the Comic-Con circuit. I absolutely hate Fat Thor because the reason why, because it is completely fine that they made him fat, but the punchline is always something that has nothing to do with being fat. It is always like, you should just eat a salad. You think fat people don't eat salads? You're a freaking idiot. Like, if you think that fat people don't eat salads, like it's just like, and granted, there are things that I like about it because ultimately, like, you know, when they all got the stones, like he didn't turn back into Thor, like he didn't get the freaking CrossFit stone or whatever, and then he gets the 6-pack back or whatever. They kept them fat the whole time, and I was like, you know what? Respect. I like that. If you're gonna make that choice, make that choice. But
I struggle with Fat Thor a little bit, but I don't struggle with Fat Thor. Here's the thing.
Yeah, because we've been fat Thor our whole lives. Like,
no. In Norse mythology, yeah. Well, as a fat guy, I've always been a big guy. That's the thing. Yeah. I think that's hard. It's a different concept. I'm just like, I'm slightly too big for the earth, right? Like everything is on me is just slightly like uncomfortably. I'll have a large skeleton and a whole bunch of meat. Like I'm just a mass of a person. Yeah. Now, good and bad. Like I don't hate on my height or my build. That, you know, like, but I have been very fat in my life at certain points.
Sure.
And the thing with Fat Thor is that in Norse mythology, Thor is a big, beefy, boisterous. He's a consumer of life. He's fat. Thor in real life is fat. Comic book Thor is wrong, technically.
Yeah.
If comic book Thor is the idealization of a god, but the real Thor in Norse mythology is like this crazy, big, fat, you know, thunderbolt, you know, hammer. You know, like he's that's who Thor is.
It's almost like you're trying to tell me that Hercules isn't Brett Goldstein.
Oh, what a weird! Oh boy, this is that's gone off the rails.
Because it's like, dude, are we joking? Like, why does like Hercules is supposed to be a big beefy guy, not a guy from Ted Lasso? Like,
it's because they're relying too much on the volume, which Mandalorian started doing, a bunch of other shows started doing. Originally it was great because they put a lot of attention into it, but now they use it as a shortcut and it's a problem. So when they can put Brett Goldstein in a digital suit and just have AI make him muscly, they're like, great, we're gonna make $1 million, you know, like every second we're gonna make him print money. But wait, what I was going to say about Fat Thor is, as somebody who has vacillated in weight constantly, when I was fatter, I was also depressed. Like this, Fat 100%. Thor is depressed. He's not Fat Thor. He's depressed Thor. Now, what the problem,
I agree with you, and I agree with that.
I loved Fat Thor as an expression of depression? What happens when there's that feeling of impotent anger, like you have zero power. He's an all-powerful god, but he's yelling at people on Fortnite, you know, like there's nothing he can do to correct the situation that he feels responsible for. He's taken it on himself. He's really hurt himself in the process, which I think is part of the process there is being heavy. What I did not like about Fat Thor is that he was also a drunk. right?
Yeah.
Because that was the thing. He was drunk a lot. So the jokes, I think, were about. I struggle to say it like because I don't want to discredit people's, like when obese people or whatever who view it's a sensitive subject because it's sensitive for me too. But I saw him more as a positive representation of going through depression because hurting yourself through diet and drinking and all that stuff is part of it. It's a very real thing. So when they show him when they show him go through that arc, he sees his mom, the eat a salad is like it feels so forced. That's my hate on it. If everything feels so forced, what runs through my veins? What, nacho cheese, ice cream, whatever. But I love Fat Thor because Fat Thor represents a very real aspect of like he's a person. They're showcasing the character as a complete, image.
Yeah. I feel like we agree on the same thing, which is that I 100% agree with you in that Fat Thor as a character is actually amazing.
Amazing.
The thing that I don't like about Fat Thor are the Monopoly Man jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
because here's the thing, and I've said this since the beginning. God forbid any of these motherfuckers self-deprecate. Because that's what actual comedy is. That's why Chris Pratt's actually funny in these movies. Because he self-deprecates a little bit. You know what I mean? A lot of these people are just like these ego-driven, actors or whatever. And the only way we can pop off on these Monopoly Man jokes are if we put you in a fucking fat suit. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like it. Ultimately, that's why I don't like it. The character itself is not the problem. Like I like the character and I like them. I like everything Chris Hemsworth did as the character. I think that it was really well done. But yeah, the like, oh, what goes through your veins? Nacho cheese, like, whatever. And then like, and not only that, but like being in the theater and like seeing how people respond to that. Because at the end of the day,
is a different, culturally, I think,
yeah, because ultimately people see that and they're like, oh, well, I can laugh because I know this guy is so handsome. You know what I mean? To where there are actual people that are like this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, the hard part for me, and one of the things that I enjoy about the Thor character in Endgame was at a certain point, and I don't know if this was your experience, at a certain point the audience feel like turns. They were like, he's a joke. When that motherfucker pulls the hammer and he says, "I'm still worthy," everyone in the crowd. I mean, you can talk to Nery. Like I felt it, and I think you could feel like everybody just kind of like, like he's feeling himself again. Like everybody's like proud of him, and immediately to be derailed by the eat a salad joke.
Yeah,
and people laughed and whatever. But here's what we'll wrap up.
That's also the other
segment.
problem with Marvel is that they don't want to sit in a serious moment for 3 seconds. Like just let the drama sit. Like let the audience feel it for a second and then move on. Like,
well, that's why I think the MCU wasted a lot of opportunities in trying to force stories that fit together, because I wish that they would have given. So like Mandalorian and Grogu, right? Mandalorian, that first season was fucking bomb, dude. The second season was awesome. So good. And then the second they try to like tie it into the bigger universe, I was like, man, that's how I wanted a gunslinging Western in space. I wanted
exactly a space Western, yes.
And with Marvel, I want every genre, man. I want this is my look, patent pending. I'm recorded, it's been recorded many times. I've said this. I want a horror series of Ghost Rider. I want a Ghost Rider horror series where Ghost Rider and it's an anthology series about all of the Ghost Riders through time that have been the spirit of vengeance, right? And it is use it to introduce Mephisto, whatever the fuck, who cares? I want it to end with Robbie Rodriguez. You can do the Johnny Blaze. You can do I had an idea for one, like there's a samurai spirit of vengeance. There's a Native American indigenous spirit of vengeance. Yeah. There's a spirit of vengeance in India during the British occupation. There's a spirit of vengeance in in my mind. I'm like, it's sick. Right. It's so full of potential.
Yeah,
but
that would be sick.
because it ties into the bigger world. You don't owe anybody anything. You could just tell those stories as little anthologies and have it be a genre piece. Each one is like a little genre piece. Or in Star Wars, the horror movie that's just or not even a horror, it's a survival movie. A survival movie that all of a sudden maybe it hints at some other things. Of course, it's going to have references. There's going to be astromech droids. There's going to be a C-3PO droid in there. Maybe that's the voice of like, oh no, whatever. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? Tell a fucking independent little story. So
yeah,
I hope because one of the things that sucks is that that because the sequels were so poorly received and I'm not even talking about the haters. Haters were going to hate from the beginning. I'm talking about I don't like the right. There's genuine critiques that you can make about that entire process that those movies came out. A lot of what's happening now, especially in The Mandalorian, is to try and contain the damage and explain how Palpatine came back. Explain this, and I know the end. I haven't seen Mandalorian Grogu. I know the end of that movie is going to be some sort of wink, and this is how Palpatine returned. And it's like, this is the somehow Palpatine returned. No, I don't want that at all. But that's the thing.
What's so funny? What's so funny is my biggest thing, and spoiler if you haven't seen the Star Wars trilogies or anything like that. It ends with Rey being the granddaughter of Palpatine. And my entire viewing experience was ended with one question, and that is, who fucked Palpatine? Right? Because that guy is the ugliest man I've ever seen in my entire life. So now they are going to have to make a mini series about how he used to be hot. Right. And nobody wants this, right?
Here's the truth. I think that this is a Darth Plagueis the Wise. No, this is a Anakin had no father Jesus situation, right?
Sure.
So sure. I think that Rey was produced by the Force or whatever. Like he chose to make her, and again. All of this stuff. Have you read? Oh man, we're going to get into the weeds on this. We've been talking about it for a long while. But have you read the script for Colin Trevorrow's episode 9? Not the one that we got.
No, I haven't.
Bro,
I'm sure it's much better.
It's out there. You can Google it. You can get it, and there's even YouTube videos that go over it. And when I tell you that it is. God, it would have been so much better. And I'm not saying, look, there's parts of the sequel trilogy that I love, man. There's certain aspects that I love certain things about it. There's certain things that I love the visual, but the idea is like the Holdo maneuver. I loved that moment in the movie theater, but then it was immediately followed with questions of ooh, that kind of fucks with a lot of what we knew about hyperspace travel. All that to say, so there's some amazing stuff in the sequel trilogy. This would have at least held things together a little better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not a Rian Johnson, the Last Jedi is the best movie of all time, but some of the visuals in The Last Jedi are some of the best in Star Wars. Like the salt planet with the red. Like all of that's to say, there's so much manipulation of what people think the people want, and they want the lowest common denominator. And if people on the internet are mad that there's an Asian woman in it, then they go attack the actor.
Know.
Why are we attacking the actor? The actor's just doing their lines. The actor's just showing up and jumping in a pool.
They're just doing their job.
It's so crazy to me. And then the companies are like, oh, well, they must not like it. It's like, don't placate those fuckers. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Just make the thing that you think is good. Take the risk. Trust the artist. Anyway.
Well, to digress a little bit, but also to change the topic to then segue into our final thing. I did want to talk to you about this because I don't know much about the Mandalorian and Grogu or whatever, but something that I'm always interested in is like movie novelty tie-ins to fast food restaurants.
Oh my God, yes.
And so, and you can show the audience this if you'd like, but the Mandalorian and Grogu now has a Star Wars X Burger King thing going on right now, and there's
Yeah.
like, you know, the Mandalorian Whopper and like, you know, all these different things. And I was just curious, Mike, like what are your favorite movie tie-ins to like fast food over the years? Because like I'm not really someone who eats this stuff anymore, but like when I was a kid, I was so into this. Like I remember doing like the Batman and Robin Taco Bell cups and like you know, like,
no,
all
okay.
that stuff.
So here's a little insight into me. My mom worked for a franchisee of McDonald's.
Yeah.
So I grew up with all of the McDonald's toys when they were peak, when
That's
they
sick.
were
Yeah.
the top of all time in my mind. There are two. Maybe they changed for 1 and 2, but right now number 1 were the DC superheroes cross Warner Brothers cartoons.
Oh yeah,
Where it was
yeah, those were
Bugs
sick.
Bunny was Superman, Daffy Duck
Yeah.
was Batman. You know, like it was. Those were, and you could take the costumes off, or someone was.
Yeah.
The Taz was the Flash. It was
Yeah.
awesome. There's little toys. The Happy Meal toys were the key. They didn't really
Yeah.
have a tie-in like menu-wise. You know, they had the Batman Forever glasses. I remember
They sure
those.
did.
They also had huge Beanie Baby things. They had crazy
Pokemon cards.
Pokemon. They had all kinds of stuff like, and they had Transformers. They had all this
Yeah.
stuff that would come out. And
one I remember, I don't know if you remember, are the little cars from Tiny Toon Adventures, and they were
Yes.
different colors, and you could flip them.
Yes.
Those were so sick. I love those.
And then the driver would flip. There would
Yeah,
be a different
exactly.
driver on the other side. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All that to say, the thing is that this is okay. This is not this Mandalorian and Grogu thing is not a toy.
No,
This is a
no, that's a menu.
this is our. I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you right now. This is literally we changed the graphics on our boxes and printing. That's it. There's no toy there. There's no change in product. There's no nothing. They literally we printed different containers.
I mean,
We
they made some
printed-
new.
that's it.
They made some new stuff though. They made a new shake. I think, right? The Whopper's the same, but they made the. I don't know.
Brother, do you think that was not in the? It doesn't. They have tons of menu items in the works, planned and pre-sourced, and they have to do supply chain. None of this happens out of a surprise. They
what's
have
so
a product,
funny,
and they're
what's
going to
so
shove
funny-
it into that thing. What I'm talking
I
about
don't
is
know
a fucking toy. I want toys. I want products.
Oh yeah. And look, we are out of that age. I think of like cool toys.
Speak
that was
for
a
yourself.
that was a no. That was like a '90s thing that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
like that,
yeah,
like
no, of course.
like now it's like these like really cheap like barely 3D printed like plastic garbage. Like it's not
Yes.
anything. Like it breaks within the first 3 minutes of you playing with it to where like
Yeah.
I literally still have Happy Meal toys in my room, and like can
there's
still
some
play
that
with them
still
if I
live on.
wanted. Yeah, like you could still play with them if you wanted, you know. So but you know, it's funny because I remember specifically with Burger King, like I remember there was a sandwich, I think it was a Whopper, but it's a Whopper with barbecue sauce and onion rings on top, and they called it the Southwest or the Western burger or whatever. And that burger was originally tied in with the movie Small Soldiers. And like I still remember all of this stuff. Like I'm so like I'm the type of person that's like, oh man, like I love movie tie-ins to food. Like I'm such a sucker for that stuff. Like I'm the person that's like, you tie in a movie to a cereal box and I'm buying the cereal. Like I'm just that guy, you know, the freaking Kellogg's Demogorgon Crunch or whatever. Like,
but there was also, when I was young, it was like they had a Super Mario Brothers and a Link in the same and Zelda in the same box of cereal.
They sure
and
did.
They would have everything
that
got
was-
a breakfast cereal. That was that was a big thing when I was a kid. Everything got a breakfast cereal. There was a Star Wars breakfast cereal. And it's the same shitty cereal, just cranked out in different shapes and stuff.
Star Wars was hilarious because it was C-3POs, so it was literally just Cheerios.
Yes, just Cheerios. The irony is that that's the shit that, like, as a kid, like, look, everything bad about regulation goes back to Reagan. He deregulated what you could market to children, because it used to be that you couldn't sell shit to children, and during kids TV and stuff like that. But then suddenly shit comes out where you're like, oh, you want to buy, and it doesn't matter what it was. We loved we were fans of, we loved the source of what this marketing thing was.
Yeah,
it is 100% now. It's changed to, they abuse that a little bit. Everything is marketed to everything is marketed to, like, the middle-aged obsessive. Not it's either they go for the least common denominator, and then they create, like, the sideshow collectible that costs $6,000.
Yeah.
Of Ray Palpatine. And then you want to know who buys it? The fucking guy who was like, I hate all this stuff, but I'm a collector, I'm a completionist, because this will be worth money someday.
Dude,
and
you want to hear something? You want to hear something crazy that once I tell you, you're probably going to be like, "Well, I believe it." Andrew Santino did a special with Disney, or with Hulu, but Disney owns Hulu, and he had a whole bit about Disney adults and how they're creepy and, like, whatever, and like their fast pass should be just a line that just goes straight to the exit, like, like it's very funny, right? They cut that joke because they didn't want him making fun of Disney adults, because Disney adults are their number one selling customer.
Yeah, of course.
But people our age are the only people buying this stuff. You know what I mean?
Look, here's where, look, and we're gonna stop talking about this. And I also, there's a couple of the celebrity news things that we were gonna get to that I also kind of wanted to make a point about this sort of thing. But well, I'm sorry, man. I lost my train of thought. The whole thing of the everything is about, there's no fucking money anymore. Yeah. Nobody has any fucking money. Why are, like, people are like, oh, millennials killed the casual dining experience because we don't have any money.
Yeah.
I loved going to Chili's with my friends. I loved it. I used to go to fucking Bennigan's. You remember Bennigan's?
Yeah,
I used to go all the time. I was out with my friends and we would go out to the movies. And then after the movies, you go get drinks somewhere. And then you end up at fucking Denny's at 2:00 in the morning.
Yes.
I love that shit. It is a lost art. It is a lost art of comiendo mierda in a fucking Denny's.
Yes,
it is a lost art of going to Outback Steakhouse for no fucking reason.
Yes,
because we don't have, and I would be doing it right now. I literally would be doing it right now. I'd be going out right now every fucking day to just go, man, I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? Oh, we're going to Chili's. Oh, you want to go to this? Let's go to the mall, where there are a variety of options to just comer mierda. The art of comiendo mierda is gone. Because comiendo mierda now costs $600 a day.
It's so
I'm sick of it.
So accurate. It's like the whole thing with, like, oh, like Meghan Trainor canceling her tour, and like all these people canceling their tour, and people are like, the demand just isn't there, and it's like, nobody has any money. Like, we can't afford concerts. That's what it is.
Because you don't. If you lowered ticket prices, first of all, if you lower the price of groceries and gas, maybe I would be more willing to drive to the fucking stadium that's a million miles away, because someone paid, an investor paid somebody to tax tax me to build the stadium over there, as opposed to putting their own fucking money in and building their own property here where we would go to it. You know, rather than that, don't charge me so much for gas. Maybe I would buy tickets. I love the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins. I would buy tickets to every time they come to any city that I live in New York and in LA. I would love to be able to go to the games, but I love them so much that it hurts me that I'm not willing to pay $250 for nosebleed seats. That's ridiculous. My dick. Plus that's $40 for parking. I want to comer mierda so bad.
Yeah.
I want to comer y hablar mierda. Yeah. That's what I'm good at, dude. Yeah, I'm so good at wasting time, and I cannot do it because the only wasting time I do is in my house. This shit's depressing.
bro, like, and it sucks because we see ourselves becoming our parents. Like, we see ourselves being like, bro, a football game was $20 when we were growing up. Like, it was so extremely cheap.
You
to
would
go to
get
a
tickets
Dolphins
for
game.
$5 with a Burger King cup.
Yeah. Like, you could get a free admission into Universal Studios with a Coke can. Like,
You could go to the Orange Bowl for free to watch the national championship Miami Hurricanes.
Yes.
It was free. I don't know how to explain to anybody who's complained. Like, that's the part where also gets real. Now we're starting to fight each other because it's like, hey, if you're slightly older than me, you benefited from this for a long time, and you bought a house.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you also benefited from the fact that you could buy a house for 50 grand.
Yeah.
You know, like my mom's house, I think when she bought it was like 80 something thousand. Like, it was crazy in the 80s. Like,
yeah, there's a photo that a guy took and it went viral on Twitter, and it's like of a very small burger and like a few fries and a Coke, and it says I paid $9.80 for this, just wanted to let the boomers that are asking me to work more know what I paid for this. And then the retweet went viral because somebody said, I thought this guy got a deal.
Genuinely, I went to Chipotle yesterday because I'm out with a friend. We're writing together. We're doing some creative writing stuff, and we were like, you know what, man, we're hungry. We went to the library because the library is the last place you're allowed to be for free. We went to the library. It was awesome. Everyone should please utilize your public libraries.
Yes,
and
please.
We went to Chipotle, and I got a burrito for $12, and I was like, oh, that's not bad. And I had to like shake myself out of the stuff inside that burrito cost 3 cents.
Yeah,
it's beans
it's true.
And some slow roasted chickens. Like, it's 3 cents.
Yeah,
it should cost, this burrito should cost no more than $5.
Yeah,
including paying the person that made it a living wage.
Yes, it's accurate.
Give me a fucking break.
It's so accurate.
Look, we're full of fucking rage right now.
Anyway, Britney Spears got a DUI. So
Britney Spears got a DUI. And in my response to that, I will say, everyone go look up Craig Ferguson's response to her initial breakdown in 2008. Craig Ferguson was a genius in that moment, and he said something that was so true because he was an addict and he was somebody who struggled with all of his demons, and he came through the other side. But could you imagine having a camera on you at all times, being this fucking famous, having everyone in your life manipulate you, and this is how you end up? And look, I kind of don't even want to reference like some of the crazier shit that was going on during the arrest for her DUI because the report came out.
Sure,
right? The report came out. This is the part of these things where celebrity culture feels gross, right?
Yeah,
celebrity worship culture, all of the like paparazzi culture. We're past that, man. If someone isn't posting it publicly on their page, leave them alone. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Unless it's a crime, which is a DUI, let the law enforcement people handle it. Well, nobody on the internet is a fucking criminal investigator. Nobody on the internet, like all of those true crime fans. Like I read a story where someone was like getting their hair cut, and they were like, they're like someone in their family had been murdered like a few months prior, like their whole family, and they're like, oh my god, that's so terrible. Like the hairdresser was talking about this true crime podcast that she listened to, and she's like, actually, could we change the subject? I had a pretty rough experience with that. And she's like, oh my god, you're so lucky. I'm such a true crime fan. It's like, what? Lucky that someone I know's entire family was murdered.
That's absolutely insane.
We have gone off the deep end, and we've forgotten.
So lucky they're going to make a Netflix series about your family. You're so lucky.
God.
Like, you've gone through so much trauma, and everybody in your family's dead, but they're going to make a Netflix series starring Glenn Powell in your like, who cares? Like just like, also, like, give Glenn Powell a break. Like, nobody wants to see him anymore. Like,
let the man rest. Let the man rest. In 2007, I just want to point that 2007, type in Craig Ferguson, Britney Spears, and you will see the video where he basically breaks it down. And that's still true to this day, almost 20 years later, that it is sick what we do to those people.
Yeah.
Like the obsessiveness of which we kind of go out of our way to find out this information is sickening. It's sickening, and it's a shame. I
will say respect to Britney Spears for offering to make them lasagna, though.
I don't want to mock the situation, but she's having a full mental breakdown. She's speaking.
I am being serious though. Like if somebody offered to make me lasagna, it would be nice. Like I'm not.
It would be nice. I will say, like, you're doing the thing that is like you might be doing the Monopoly Man joke.
Am I?
You might be there.
Maybe.
Because you're referencing something without referencing the reality of the other thing.
That's
which
true.
Is the reason why she was doing that is because she's ill. The reason why she's doing that, all of that is from everything is from us. From addiction is an illness, under the influence, mental health issues that she's been doing, drug addiction that wreaks havoc on your brain. So when you're saying that sort of thing, it's like, yeah, she was speaking nonsensically to the arresting officers. Yeah, she's sick. She's unwell. Of course and for you to quote her when she's unwell is like, do you know how many times I've had drunk people tell me shit that I should have beat the fuck out of them for?
Oh yeah. 100%.
And then I have to excuse it because, they were drunk. Fuck you, dude. You don't get to
or they haven't had their coffee yet.
They haven't had their coffee. Shut the fuck. Everybody, if you're ill, you're ill, and you need to be given. But I'm not going to be here to decipher what to. No. That's a problem for her and her doctors and lawyers.
Fair enough. I did not. To full disclosure, I did not see the video of what was going on. I did read an article, so my assumption was that all of this happened, and then she offered later to be like, hey, like, I'm sorry that happened, can I make you lasagna?
No. This is in the moment. No. This is in the moment that she's basically saying all of these things while she's being arrested. She's unwell, man. She's sick.
Man,
it's a brutal thing, and I get it. The impulse when you don't know all the details, for us is to crack a joke. Granted,
of course,
I'm saying all this. Don't think I don't got immediate jokes. Like full-fledged jokes. The reality is that those jokes and my empathy for her, and I don't even say empathy, the sympathy that she's a human being who's unwell, is enough for me to put them in two separate boxes. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like the joke is and trust me, I got him. I'm sure that I'm sure that I would try if there was a way that it didn't break with my morals a little bit, I would say them, but I have a little bit more of a respect for that issue, especially because as a medical professional who's been in emergency situations and seen when people are at their worst, when they're unwell, like I tend to give that a little bit more leeway, especially if she was in that, like, this lifelong struggle of, hey, not my place. I'm not going to I'm not going to fat Thor eat a salad someone's clinical depression.
Fair enough. And to be fair, like there also is the idea of like, it's a little easier if we knew that Britney Spears was a terrible human being, but like she's fine. Like she's just somebody who's ill, you know, and so many of us are ill and cope with so many different things. So like it's a very for example, this isn't, you know, this is the best thing I could come up with at the time. If this happened to Adolf Hitler, it'd be a lot easier to make jokes right now. You know what I mean?
We were going to talk about Drake. Well, Nery's not here, but because I don't give a fuck about Drake. We were going to talk about Drake dropping 3 albums at once to get us to forget that he grooms teen girls. Yeah, I don't care. Fuck you, dude. I don't care about you. If he was depressed, I'd be like, are you getting medical? Have you repented from your preying on young girls? Have you repented? Have you apologized? Have you sought to right the wrongs against the girls that you went after? Then, if not, then I don't care. Fuck you, dude. Yeah, you dropped 3 albums. Sounds like you had a lot of time on your hands. You know what I mean? Like, good for you, dude. I will say that one line where he said, I thought that she was 18, but she's actually 11 was pretty good.
But and that is how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you do it.
Go. On the dismount, I do want to say we've done a lot of old men yelling at cloud today, but this is going to happen one more time. This post, this guy's story about working at Sears in the 90s has people questioning today's economy. Oh, really? Oh, really? A viral post about working in Sears in the 90s, and then forget it. I'm not gonna read that. I'll read. When I worked at Sears in the early 90s, the people there built entire lives off those jobs. The guy running appliances had 3 kids, coached Little League every weekend, and retired after 32 years with a pension. One of the women in customer service bought her first house working full-time there, and the older guy in hardware took the same vacation to the Ozarks every summer because he could actually afford to unplug for a week. Wow. The managers knew everybody by name. The Christmas bonuses actually meant something, and the store was packed every holiday season because business was booming. Nobody thought they were stuck working retail. It was honest work and paid enough to live with dignity. Somewhere along the way, corporations started making record profits while the people keeping the place running could barely afford rent. When exactly did a steady full-time job stop being enough to build a normal life? This is not the podcast to break down the real reasons why, but we're here to reminisce about. Do you remember going to Sears in the 90s?
Yeah, they had everything. They had
everything.
Bras,
you could go to the video game. I would go to the hardware store and just start swinging like hammers at each other and go ting, ting.
Yeah.
You know, like shit like that. Like it was the sporting goods. You throw a football around. You know what I mean? Like it was. It had everything.
I remember being so small that like when my mom would go shopping, I would go inside of the clothing racks.
The
little round clothing racks. Yeah,
I yearn for that. The safety.
Yeah. Oh, to be that
comfort.
small. And feeling the hugs of that many blouses.
To feel the to feel that safe and protect the cocoon of 90s fashion blouses.
Yes.
Hugging me gently.
Yes.
Oh, the joy of that round rack and being in the middle of it. Oh my God, what a memory.
So fun. So fun. That was Sears for me. Was doing that.
Sears. The
rack,
dude,
getting on bikes and like riding around the aisles, like you know, like
do you know that used to be? Oh my God, that's why they started putting them up.
Yeah.
They put them up. They started putting them up on the rack because we had these little kids riding these bikes for free.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Sears catalog? Did you know you used to be able to? You could buy a prefab house in Sears from a Sears catalog.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the Sears catalog, but I don't remember that.
If you've played Red Dead Redemption 2, you buy all your guns and shit from a catalog, essentially. Yeah. Because what they do is they order it and they have it delivered or whatever. But in that game, you build a house, like you build a whole you could buy a house from Sears. Hold on, let me find the actual listing. Sears.
I mean, one thing I do remember is like when I was a kid was like the Sears catalog and the Thanksgiving Toys R Us catalog was like peak for being a kid because that's what you would circle for Santa, you know?
Oh, I think yes, you would get the catalog and you would be like, oh, here, just so, and your parents would try to be slick and be like, Santa needs a help sometimes, but circle what you want.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Like I don't know if Santa can afford that, and it's like Santa makes these. He can't make a dog. Like
here's the vintage mail order houses that came from the Sears catalogs from 1910s to the 1940s.
Wow, dude, that so you could buy a mansion on the Sears catalog.
You could buy what would go now for like $1 million+ depending on the area from a Sears catalog.
What looks like the house from the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was in the Sears catalog.
Yes. We will build, paint, and complete. Ready for occupancy, this modern 9-room home for $3,000.
Wow.
If you want to buy the building plans or buy whatever, $19.95. That's how much a house was back in the day.
Wow.
Do not attempt building without plans.
That's like barely a down payment on a car.
Think about it, man. Like that's the thing. Numbers are made up, dude. All these numbers are fake. The numbers that we have today don't make any sense. Elegant concrete and frame construction, 9-room, $4,000 house
Wow.
$725, brother. This is insane.
That's crazy.
My wife and I have recently become obsessed with tiny homes because we figure that's our last shot.
Yeah, the only way to own a home. Yeah,
the only way to own a home. And they all minimum like 50 G's for anything worth living in, like with a toilet. Otherwise, you have to shit in a bucket. And yes, a composting toilet is shitting in a bucket. Okay, a composting toilet, unless you have plumbing, like one of those RV like dispenser toilet. A composting toilet is you shitting in a bag in a bucket.
Yeah, fair.
Anyway, as much as this had kind of like a sour note at the end, we know it can be better. Like that's the part. That's the thing. I want to leave today with Mike. What's something you're happy about coming up for you for the week? What's something you're happy about coming up for you for the rest of the month? And what's happening? What are you looking forward to this year? Let's do some positive affirmations here at the end.
Okay. Well, something that I'm super happy about this week was that I'm blessed and I was able to shoot a commercial that is going to be like a series of stuff. And it got to be funny and comedic, and the people with this company, it's a very big company. They really like me and they want to work with me again. And just, it was really nice to do that. So that this week, that was something I'm excited about. Another thing I'm excited about, I'm kind of keeping it low key a little bit, but like I've been working on myself lately, just trying to lose weight, walk more, things like that for my mental health, but also for my body. I've lost a pretty good amount of weight. I still have a lot to go. And I'll talk about all that when I feel correct, like it's the right time. But
you tell people when you're ready.
But ultimately, like the biggest thing is, dude, it has changed my self-esteem for the better. And I'm so happy about it because like it gave me boundaries, and it made me realize my worth. You know what I mean? Like it's starting to make me realize like the people that are worthy of my time, the people that are worthy of my love, like, things like that. And I just, something that I want to say to all of the listeners is that you should know your worth. And if you treat yourself like you're worth $5, so will everybody else. Like you just need to treat yourself like you know what's up. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like I always tell this to certain people about me as like an artist, where like I have always used the metaphor of like it's almost like I see a tsunami coming. And the tsunami being the art and my potential and my worth. And I'm just trying to tell everybody that a tsuami's coming, and whether you believe me or not is up to you. But it doesn't mean the tsunami.
You're the tsunami?
Coming. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It doesn't mean the tsunami isn't coming. You can believe me or you can't, but that's what's happening. And so
either way, it's a good Kickflix name.
Yeah,
it's a good when we bring Kickflix back. You're going to be Mike the Tsunami Valdes.
Tsunami. Yes, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
I love it, man. I'm so proud of you for what you're doing for yourself. I'm so happy that you're getting these opportunities. I'm right now plugging away, trying to figure out my thing. My short term. I'm probably gonna go see the Mandalorian and Grogu, and I'm gonna do it with the intent to have a childlike mind. I want to go in and just focus on the things I'm enjoying. Focus on the things that are fun, because it's gonna be fun.
Get a large blue milk and have fun.
I'm gonna try and do that. I am also working on myself, but I could be doing more, and I want to hold myself accountable, which is also a positive thing. It's a positive thing to hold yourself accountable, and I'm trying to process it that way. I would love other people to hear that too. That making sure that you do the right thing, even in the moment that you don't want to, because I don't want to work out in the morning, but as soon as I do, not only do I feel better for having done it, I also have that weight lifted on me, and the guilt of not doing it is gone too. Like I have more energy, and I'm not guilty. There's 2 for 1, baby. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Neri isn't here, but something Neri has told me many times, because I'm very much like you. Like before I work out, doesn't matter what time before I work out, I don't want to do it. And then after I work out, I'm always glad that I did. And he says, dude, it's going to start like that, and before you know it, you're going to start looking forward to doing it. So like just got to get to that. You got to get to that place, because it's all about perspective. You know,
hey, if you want perspective a little bit more on that, go to Zeros on Heroes Collateral Benefit. Go check out all those shows I did with friend of the show Will Watkins, and we talk about every. Here's my long-term goal. I want to improve in some ways so that when they improve other aspects of my life as well, it's a surprise. A collateral benefit is like, if I take care of my physical health, my mental health also improves, and it's like, hey, that's a nice feeling, you know. That, I want to do it so much that I'm just surprised by how good things are going, rather than the other way around.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Thank you everybody for watching. You can follow us at Mike Mercadal, at Mike Valdes, at WUBro Pod on all social media platforms. If you're watching us on Instagram, thank you for joining us. Please follow us on YouTube at WUBro Pod. And thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow us individually. Follow at Zeros on Heroes for future upcoming content coming up. And Mike Valdes, is there anything you want to? I mean, this is up now, but is there anything you'd like to promote before we go?
No, man. Just follow me on Instagram, and you know what else is up. That's it. That's all I
follow him for tsunami updates. Thank you everybody for watching and listening. And that's how winning is done.
That's how winning